some tickets, please?
Yeah. For what movie?
Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the time.
Brings a tear to my eye just a little bit how shitty the movie theaters are now.
So, according to a recent Pew Center study, 47% of all Americans didn't see a single movie in theaters last year. For a medium that's supposed to be mass entertainment, that's not great.
For years, movie theaters have struggled to compete with streaming services, but now in the year 2026, people are starting to ask the question, are movie theaters finally making a comeback? After a sharp decline during the pandemic, movie theaters are finally beginning to rebound. Major releases are bringing crowds back to the theaters. Still, streaming services are affecting how theaters operate.
So they really have changed like the distribution and the length of it, like how long a movie is going to be out in the movie theater. Before streaming services, we were probably looking at anywhere from like 3 to 6 months that a movie was going to be in a theater, and then they would put it on like DVD and so people could rent it out and stuff like that. But now everything's digital, so if a movie is not doing well in the theater, they'll just yank it away from the theater and then put it on a streaming platform. On the opposite side of that, if a movie is doing really well, instead of like a obligated 90 days or 180 days, now all of a sudden a studio could say, we're actually going to keep it in the theater so it continue to make money. Tom Cruise, and so when he made Maverick, he's a partner with Paramount and that streaming service. And so part of his negotiation was like, if the movie is making a certain amount of money in theaters, it has to stay in theaters regardless of that time frame. So if that's 30 days or if it's like 3 years, then it's going to stay in theaters before they put it on streaming. And so sure enough, it did well, so it stayed in theaters, and that made his studio and him specifically a good chunk of money. And then only until it dipped did it go into the streaming. So a lot of contract differences are going to change, a lot more negotiation on content and who can show that content, how quickly they can show that content. And at the same time, this can also make people not as motivated to go see it in theater, because it's like, well, if I just wait it out, it's going to be streaming anyway, right? So sometimes that can certainly hurt the theaters too.
But for many who have returned to the theater since the pandemic, their experience has been positive.
For me personally, it's gotten better. I think less people go, so for someone that likes to go to movies, that's great because there's not as many guys in there. But I feel like at the very least I've had a good time at the movies that I've gone to see.
Some say major hits are too rare and that Hollywood needs to get back to creating more compelling movies to draw viewers back into the theaters.
I think if you look at, the types of movies that are coming out, there was so much emphasis on like series of movies, like the action movies like Marvel or DC. There's a lot of rebooting that's going on, but the original content is doing well. Barbie movie did well a few years ago. Like you said, Project Hail Mary is doing well.
Cost is another major problem. Movie theater tickets are at an all-time high, but despite this, younger audiences are the driving force in movie theaters. The first quarter of 2026 has already outperformed last year, and the outlook is promising. 76% of moviegoers say that they're going to see a movie in theaters this summer. So while movie theaters are still facing their challenges, the big screen may not be going away just yet.